So in this video, we're going to focus in on the words that you're using to describe your condition. You cannot underestimate the power that these words have, either in enabling your condition or your pain to persist, even when you don't want it there, or the pearls of wisdom that you can learn when you take that step back and notice and assess the words that you're using and what clues they might be giving you to the root cause to your pain. So the first aspect I want to focus in on is the words that you use to describe it. So do you say, I have back pain, neck pain, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, whatever that condition is, do you use the words I've got or I have to describe it? What you may not realise is that by using those words, you're taking ownership of that, and almost those words are saying that this is part of me, I have this, even though I know you won't want to be suffering with that. So the way to help to disentangle that is to change the words that you use, because the words that you use, what you believe, your subconscious mind responds to, and then your body reacts as well. So one way that to help to disentangle that is to, for example, say, right now I am experiencing. That in itself is more temporary than I have. So that's the first aspect. The second aspect of the words that you're using is, are you using emotional words to describe your condition? So it might be that if I was to say to you, please can you just describe to me what's your pain like? Would you use words like irritated, angry, frustrated? These really are pearls of wisdom in that there's an emotional connection to your pain. So when you notice this, you can then take a step back and think, okay, what is it in my life that I'm finding really frustrating right now? And what steps can you take to change that, the situation in itself, or also the perception that you have of it? Because by creating that change, you can then allow the physical symptoms to change and improve. And I've got a great story about that, which I'm going to come on to in a second. The other thing is that there's many terms or phrases that we use within the English language that are really also emotional reasons or causes to the pain that you've got. So we will use phrases like that person or that situation's a pain in the neck. I can't stomach that problem. They're really pissing me off. All of these, again, are real clues into part of your symptom picture. So is there somebody in your life that's pissing you off right now? Because it might be that is also in itself recreating that pain and those symptoms. Again, what you can do over the next week is just take a step back, really notice the thoughts that you have, the ways that you use to describe your symptoms, and where you can then are the ways that you can act on those, create the change to help your symptoms improve. Now, I said that I was going to talk to you about they're a pain in the neck. This was my first introduction to the mind-body connection. So I initially trained as a McTimney chiropractor. I'm not a chiropractor anymore. I've deregistered. But at that time, I lived in a shared household. So I had a housemate who really hated her job. She had chronic pain. And in my later years in practice, I was able to treat people under supervision. And so she was one of those people. We had exactly the same the pattern that was happening after every session. So her pain would get worse for 24 hours, and then her symptoms would just be back to exactly as they were. But within our training, we'd only had 3 treatments together. That it can be that, particularly when you've got a chronic issue, it can take time for those improvements to start to happen. So there were misalignments, there was inflammation, there was muscle tension. So on a physical level, all of these things did exist. So we agreed together that we would continue to have the treatments to see if we can help find those improvements for her. Like I say, she hated her job. One evening she came home and she just went, that's it. I've had enough of my boss. I can't put up with him any longer. I don't care that I don't have another job to go to. Hand him a notice in. So there was all that discussion that evening. I remember the next morning, I was sat eating my breakfast on the sofa and she popped her head round the door and she said, Rachel, you're not going to believe this. My neck pain's gone. I have to say in that moment, I felt really inadequate because I thought, but there were misalignments I don't understand. There were physical things going on and, crikey, it was the situation that was going on in her life that was actually causing that physical pain. And when she removed that pain in the neck boss, or that conflict that was going on in her life between needing to work and being stuck around that person, then her neck pain was able to just resolve. And for as long as we knew each other, her neck pain never returned either. So like I say, the words that you're using really can be giving huge clues to what's going on and what needs to change, and it can have a dramatic effect. Sometimes it isn't always as instant as that, but what you can then find is that when you remove the emotional cause, then your physical body can start to heal and recover. There are times though when things are below your subconscious level of awareness. It might be that you're aware that you're using words that have emotions or have some meaning to them, but you can't find what the root cause of that is. And if that's the case, then one of the methods that myself and Lorna use, which is called Psyche, can really help to get to the bottom of that, find out what those messages are, create that subconscious change to then enable your physical body to heal and recover. So what I'll do is, in case you're interested, I'll pop a link at the bottom of this video so that you can take a look. Otherwise, please just spend the next week just noticing the words that you're using, and really helps you well on your journey to finding out and getting to the root cause of your symptoms.